War brings out the most amazing stories of heroism, bravery, courage, and camaraderie. Now, while some of these may be legends and some of these are true, this much is true when it comes to the topic of an urban legend, or perhaps something even real, during the opening days of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Now, the Ghost of Kyiv is about a pilot who was able to shoot down multiple Russian aircraft during the opening days of the war. Some commentators would say that this is a collective of the Ukrainian Air Force, as contradictory to Russian claims, they still stood their ground and was able to fight back against the Russian Air Force. On the other hand, some say that this is simply an urban legend, a myth, or an embodiment of Ukrainian resistance against the Russians. However, later on, there was also another story of a pilot who was retired, who went back into service, and was later on KIA. Whatever the truth of the Ghost of Kyiv is up to them to find out. But for now, the Ghost of Kyiv is remembered to be an iconic piece of resistance against the Russian invasion. And that is why ICM, a Ukrainian model kit brand, made this particular kit to commemorate the memory of the Ghost of Kyiv. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is an old MiG-29 kit of theirs that they have redesigned, if I should say so myself, quite beautifully. They have redesigned this and also added decals for what's supposed to be the scheme of the Ghost of Kyiv. And as always, we'd be taking a look at the parts, the sprues, and anything else that comes with the kit. And without further ado, let's get into it. Now for the first two sprues, you can see most of the major parts for the kit. For this one, you have here the top and bottom half of the fuselage. As you can see, all the panel lines are nicely detailed right there. Also the cockpit area. Coming around the back, you'd see more fair detailing right here. And for the underside, you can see the amount of detailing molded in as well. Next off, you have the wings. Here are the main wings, the vertical tail fins, and also the horizontal tail fins. The other parts that you can see here are for the landing gears, the doors to them. You have here the pilot seat, and also basically the box where the pilot is. You also have here the instrument panel. Now the ones you can see here are the parts for the engine. If I'm not mistaken, they're the intake, and they would go right here. So you can see these parts right here. You'd be attaching these pieces here. I just want to go back a little to the pilot's area. You have nice surface detailing for the seat, although if you have aftermarket parts, I think you can make this even better. Detailing once again is quite nice. For the cockpit area itself, you have to clean that up right there for the seat to sit flush. Instrument panel is well detailed as well, although you would be painting that if you don't have, let's say, those 3D decals that aftermarket producers make. But overall, these parts look quite nice, and let's move on to the next. Now here we have a sprue, and indicated in the instruction manual, these parts right here, the ones you can see, are not used with the kit. So I'm not sure where these are for. Nonetheless, they are not used. So on the left side, you can see here all the missiles for the MiG-29. the armaments, and also the pylons. Next, you have parts for the landing gear, as you can see right there. And likewise, more details for the landing gear and also the pylons. Next, you have the clear parts. You have those for the cockpit itself, and the smaller ones are for the sensors around the front. Next, you have here the decal sheet and also the instruction manual. For this first decal sheet, you'd find the national markings, the roundels, and also numbers that you can use to customize this MiG. On closer inspection, you can see that they also have a decal for the instrument panel. However, it is not like the 3D decals, so this is flat. Next off, we have here the decals for the digital camo. Now, initially, I was wondering how would I do the digital camo. When I opened the kit, I saw that they already have the decals for the digital camo that would be seen on this particular MiG, the design of the MiG. To be careful where you're placing them, follow the numbers as they are called out in the instruction sheet. Overall, the decals look nicely done. Here's the Ghost of Kyiv, the art, and then also the story. As you can see here, they say it themselves that there are still debates whether the Ghost of Kyiv really exists. Can it be one person or a whole team? Some believe he died, and many say he was ejected, or maybe it's just an inspiring story. Just like what I mentioned earlier, there are many accounts of who or what the Ghost of Kyiv really is, and the truth would probably be revealed later on, or if not, simply left to the hearts and minds of those who remember what the Ghost of Kyiv is. Now the color call out, as you can see here, off-white, sky gray, dark sea gray, black, and also natural steel, all of which they have paints for, or equivalents in Revel and also Tamiya. Likewise, the ones here. Now moving along, you have the sprue callouts, and as you saw earlier, these ones, the ones marked in orange, are all not used with the kit. Next, you have the instructions here, assembly for the cockpit, the landing gear, fuselage. Then you go on to the wings, the engine, the exhaust, weapons, etc. Then putting them all together here. Then lastly, for the instruction manual, you have the color and also decal callouts. As I mentioned earlier, they already have it marked here, which decal goes where. So you have here markings, or the individual markings, unique ones, and then also where the particular digital camo decal goes on to. Now, if I'm not mistaken, there's also another scheme that follows this kind of color with a bigger trident in somewhat digital format, but that's for another scheme, and this one follows what's conceptually the Ghost of Kyiv. Now, in addition to the ICM Ghost of Kyiv kit, they also released an acrylic paint set that would be dedicated for the kit itself. As you can see, the items included are off-white, sky gray, dark sea gray, dark gray German gray, and also a varnish satin. Most of the colors have been called out in the instruction manual for the Ghost of Kyiv kit. Let's take a look inside. These are the ones included, and here in the box you can see that it indicates it's prepared for brush painting, and should you use airbrush, they recommend that you dilute it with water or thinner in a 40 to 60% ratio. Now, use primer when painting with airbrush. Colors can be mixed with each other. That's pretty much it for the acrylic paint set. There are 6 bottles in total, and they're 12 milliliters in size. And that's it for ICM's Ghost of Kyiv MiG-29 model kit and acrylic paint set. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, leave a thumbs up. If you didn't, leave a thumbs down, and let me know down in the comments below what you think of the kit, the Ghost of Kyiv kit in particular, or their older MiG-29. And as always, stay safe everyone, keep modeling, and until next time, goodbye.